Welcome to Hey Julie. What's going on? I don't know what. Oh gosh, this is going off to a great start. For some reason, the audio is playing.
It's a Big Brother podcast. And it's a Big Brother All Stars podcast specifically. We're very excited.
Hold on 1 second. Something's going on horrible on the live stream. It's like live streaming. Oh, I see why. Great podcast so far. I started.
Oh my gosh!
Oh gosh!
You have it on in the
going
back?
up in the back. I'm probably gonna get sued by CBS. Let me just kill this. This is going great so far. I accidentally had our live stream going on my other computer, so then that was coming through on my TV audio. Hold on 1 second. This is.
Wait, but this tells me someone's awake. That's very exciting.
That's David doing the. I'm gonna cut this all from the podcast. Maybe not. That's David brushing his teeth. Give me a minute.
They're waking up early so far, which as someone on the East Coast, I'm really loving it.
Danny, why don't you talk while I turn off my television?
Yes, so we're gonna talk about the premiere episode. It was 2 hours long on Wednesday night, which was Brett's birthday. So what a gift for him. Lots to discuss in that premiere. And then I think a good amount of today's podcast is also gonna be a spoiler zone. For those of you who don't have feeds, just so you know, we get into it on this podcast. If you're a new listener and this is your first time listening to Hey Julie, hello, welcome. So excited for All Stars.
Not only are we unprofessional in terms of our knowledge of Big Brother history, we're clearly unprofessional today in that I actually had our live stream going on my television as we were recording, and hilarity ensued. Old Z10's in the chat, our number one guy. Well, actually, Old Z10, thank you very much. We have to get to some really important stuff here before we get to our 2 hour premiere, before we get to a couple days of live feeds. We have like a listener Hall of Fame induction going on.
Yes, we do.
Marco Patino sent Danielle a cameo from, who is it again? I completely forgot. It's from Cliff Hogg. Sorry. Because I also got a birthday cameo from Kevin Schluber, not from a fan, because my fans the fans love Danny. They don't love me. That's all right. It's cool.
Maybe it was meant to be for both of us. But Cliff insists that he listens to Hey Julie. He's doubled down on the lie that he listens to Hey Julie, and I respect him for it.
Oh yeah, I mean he's just playing a good social game, right?
Yeah, and he's winning me over. Not that he needed to.
You can take the man out of the game, but you can't take the game out of the man.
And I love that both of these cameos, Kevin's and Cliff's, it's the older gentlemen of the cast. I love that they're both standing as they deliver these cameos, because they're clearly like, gotta get the energy up, gotta really deliver something good.
They're not like Jimmy Fallon who can play bingo with Donald Trump sitting down.
No.
These are older gentlemen in a good way. They need to be
delivered.
Up. They stand, they do the monologue standing, and then they move to the desk for the jokes.
Exactly. And I just thank you so much, Marco. I was really, truly so touched. What an absolutely amazing gift. I was so happy. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it was incredibly sweet. We have great fans. And if you're listening to the podcast, I mean you.
Great listeners.
Right now. So, Danielle, I've had a morning already. I'm so embarrassed about how the first 3 minutes of this podcast went.
Don't be.
Wednesday night. We had ourselves a premiere.
A grand old time.
What did you think about it?
I honestly, looking back, I'm like, wow, a whole hour was spent on that stupid comp, that puzzle that no one could get. I think they wanted it to be more exciting than it was. Just watching that 4 times was very unnecessary. I wanted to see more interaction of the All Stars house guests. I wanted to see them talking to each other, hugging each other. I wanted to see the awkward moments, the charming moments, and instead we just watched them try to put that ball in a hole 4 times.
Yeah, those puzzles, they sell, versions of those puzzles for people at home, with a marble or something like that and 2 little knobs. those puzzles are barely entertaining by
Yeah.
yourself. Like 4 times on national television. Yeah. Hey, I want to say overall, like, we're probably going to shit on things because this is what like BB podcasts are about, is like complaining about the intricacies of a live national television broadcast.
Yeah.
I thought it was mainly excellent. I thought so far this season has been incredibly carried out, especially if you consider I'm sure the difficulties of producing in these COVID times.
Yeah, I mean, totally overshadowing any in the moment feelings of like, why am I watching this comp again, was like, oh my God, I'm watching Keisha do this comp. I'm watching Ian and Memphis do this comp. I'm watching like Janelle and Kesar doing this comp. Like, more so important than how silly the comp was how excited I was that, oh my God, in this cursed year of 2020, I'm actually seeing people I love playing on my favorite show. So it was more an overall feeling of #blessed. Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or
Sorry everybody.
your audio isn't.
That was my fault. Live stream. I'm just having a day today. I apologize.
Should we pause and fix?
No, it's fixed now.
Okay, cool.
Whatever. The live stream just fucked today.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much to discuss on the live stream. There's also always like alliances that get made on the first day, or people who say like, oh, I didn't want to work with him because he was weird on day 2. And we're like, oh, I want to see him being weird on day 2. And now we actually get to see it all. And let's just say, listen, we all know 2020's curse. We hate coronavirus. We hope that they find a vaccine, of course. But let's look on the bright side for a second. If you are lucky enough to still be employed and working from home, having access to the live feeds is very nice.
As I am employed, I cannot confirm nor deny that I've maybe had some live feeds on as a second screen experience while I'm working.
I do not recall. I do not recall if they were up for 5 hours one day. I don't know.
I would like to plead the fifth on that one.
But it's so great. It's so great to have it back. And it's so fun to watch people who actually know each other. Like, usually that's not what we want. You know, when it's a mix of half people who are brand new and then returnees, it's a little lame. It's a very uneven playing field. But it's a very even playing field for every single contestant this year, except for David. So
I think this... let's just get into it. I mean, we can get into the premiere in a second, but just one thing to say overall, while we're praising things, crazy thing to do on a Big Brother podcast again.
Yeah.
I think this has the opportunity to be one of the best seasons of Big Brother. Normally and increasingly in the last few years, it's been relatives of Ariana Grande. I'm clearly someone's father.
Ariana.
Yeah, that Haley Gaga dropped a new album. It's really lit, kids. It's increasingly Grande siblings and people who want to like sell makeup on Instagram. Like, let's be real. So they're all 24, or Holly Allen was once 24. I think she's like old. She's like in her 30s now
She's
or whatever.
the same age as us, which means she's washed.
We have a cast that is for the most part, I think majority of them are married or engaged. We've
Yeah,
got
or
a
have
lot of people
kids.
with kids. We have like
Yep.
4 people in their 40s. I think there's only 3 single people in the cast. Nicole, Anthony, David, and Enzo, who's not
And
like
Christmas.
young and single. Oh,
no, Christmas
she
has a boyfriend. Never
has a
mind. She has a
boyfriend.
boyfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and Enzo's not even like Enzo looking good, by the way, but he's
Oh, yeah.
not like 20. He's not like Cody Calafiore BB16 single. He's
Right.
more like 40-year-old dad single. Like, I'm going to the TGI Fridays. I'm just going to see who's there.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like sleepless in Seattle single. He
Yeah.
needs his kids to parent trap him together with an age appropriate woman.
and hasn't it been so frustrating in the last few years, whether it's, last season with Jackson and Beth, whether it's Tyler, Tangela, it's like, oh gosh, I have to watch this gross ass couple who like are like aspiring Snapchat influencers, like make out and like dominate this game. How wonderful that we don't have to deal with that this season. And it's like just older people playing the game. And we'll see how that plays out. Maybe Tyler's probably going to win the damn season or whatever. Who cares?
Well, I was just going to say, I think this season's going to spoil us. You say it's going to be one of the best ever. I agree, but I think that what comes after this season has a tough mountain to climb because already, and we really need to start talking about the premiere episode because I really want to start talking about feeds.
Yeah, I apologize.
But, already I feel just like an abundance of marvelous, exciting things in the works. So let's start with the premiere.
All right. Question in the chat. Very applicable. Kayla Ball. I am here to hear Danny's take on Julie's bow of a dress. Julie or Danny, can I get a verdict here?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked. Julie knew that we would all be on the edge of our seats to see what she could possibly wear during this pandemic season. All Stars 2, she really had to bring it. She put up a little preview on Twitter. This dress was short, form-fitting, but not too revealing. It was blue with a slightly Chanel-esque pattern to it. It had a bow on one side. It was demure, ladylike, but just enough of shoulder showing to let us know Julie's still a freak in the sheets. I give this outfit a hot.
Oh, wow. Wow. We're starting off the season well. I don't think Danny has given Julie a hot since Obama was in office.
Like, I just want everyone to know I'm still against Julie as a person because while she's with Les, but I have to grade her outfits accordingly to how I actually feel about them. And it was a hot for me.
So I'm a little bit confused here. And because she had posted on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, like spoilers for tonight. And it was just like a little swatch of her dress. And it was like white with these blue things on there. But then when the TV came on, and I don't know if my television is going bad. I don't know if my eyes are going bad. I don't know if it's a black dress, the blue and black dress, white and gold dress situation. I don't know if it's a Yanni or a Laurel situation.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on, but when it was, maybe it was just the contrast because the stage is so blue and you have these giant like video panels behind her that were the same color of her dress. I thought her dress looked like it was just gray and white. It looked like TV snow. Yeah. Remember back in the day when your TV would be like all fuzzy and it would be that snowy static? That's what it looked like to me. I was confused because I thought I saw the dress on Instagram earlier. I was confused. I'm confused at myself. I'm disappointed at myself. It's a Laurel or a Laurel situation. And I give it a not.
Wow. I think that since the average age of the cast is so much higher this season, we're feeling a little too comfortable to reveal how old we are and going on tangents like that, Brett.
It's only going to get worse every season.
Your vision, you need to fix your vision, Brett, because it was very clearly blue.
My vision is perfect. No, it's not. I have to wear glasses at work now.
Anyway, so Julie looks gorgeous. And then first first contestant we see, Nicole Franzel riding that tractor.
That was incredible production. Like, they know what's going on. They know that the BB Hive is obsessed with Nicole, which I would want to talk about. We got to run through this. We've spent so much damn time talking about other stuff.
She is so polarizing to the BB community that smart of production. And just a side note, I think that all the contestants filmed this stuff themselves, right? Or got like their families or whoever to film for them.
Yeah, so I believe they were sent either a camera kit or like something like that, and they filmed these. And you know what? They were of the same quality as the ones where they send like a crew of 4 people to like Dallas to shoot like the Willett twins out of fucking like Chili's or something like that. There was no difference. They're bad. We want to get through them as quickly as possible. We got delivered some great like work action shots, business action shots this year. I think of all the seasons, this season so far has had like 3 or 4 like yes, the hotel is opening on July 15th or whatever. Like, I mean, and including in this one, Nicole and Vic planning their wedding. And I forgot what they said, but it was like, should we do the white linen or the blue linen on the napkins?
All I know is it ended up with Nicole being like, Victor, you have no taste. Like, so good. So yes, Nicole Franzel opens us up. BB producers say, we see you, Twitter. Then we hit up my girl, Danny.
Yes.
Danny Donato, and she's a mom now.
Yes, she's a mom. Her 2-year-old daughter's her best friend.
She's a mom, but that hasn't stopped her having a fucking 6-pack and like arms that are just as good as Christmas. Like, Danny's been working out, and good for her.
I don't know if this is just personal preference or not. I think Danny is better with the dyed black hair.
Oh, I prefer the blonde. I much prefer the blonde.
That's why there's chocolate and vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have 31 flavors.
Maybe it's just because in my eyes, she'll always be BB 8 Danny, 19 years old, skinny as a rail, and bleach blonde. But I like the blonde.
Yeah.
So then we hit up our girl, Devon.
So great. When they introduced Devon, they used the clip from the GIF. They used her opening the door and being like, what?
Yeah. Well, of course, because my husband, who hasn't seen a Devon season before, went, oh, she's the girl from the GIF. Like, yeah, it's good for people.
Yeah, these intro packages were really cleverly done. They put Nicole first just to freak out all the BB like Twitter people to be like, yeah, of course, she's a mastermind. She's the puppet master. She's controlling Grodner from behind the scenes. They put the GIF in. She kind of addresses that she knows she talks too much, and maybe third time's the charm with her. I don't know.
What kills me about Devon is I guess she's an acting teacher now. Here's the thing, Devon. Well, that was part of her intro package. It was like, I love the camera and I love performing, and I'm like, yeah. On reality shows, like, just she of all people so embraces and delivers more than anyone else in a reality TV setting. But I love that she loves Shakespeare. I think that's great too.
We're like 36 hours in on feeds, and she's got some great like reaction give faces already to stuff people are saying. Like the guy, like the Axios guy looking at the Trump graphs. She's got some great ones already.
She's got nothing. Yeah, he's got nothing on Devon. Then we meet Miss Christmas. Christmas very artfully, and I'm noticing this on the feeds too. And this is why I'm reminded as to why I didn't really ever like her her first season before she hurt her leg. It's because she's such a millennial influencer who's just always selling something. Like, nothing about her to me reads as real or transparent.
And I tell you, like, the couple days that she's been on the feeds, it's like everything she talks about is like, when I broke my foot, like, she just doesn't shut up about the same one thing. Like, hey, you are a fitness entrepreneur. Like, your body, like, that would be like if I went deaf, like it would be like if I went deaf or blind or something like that. And it's like, yeah, you can't do a major part of your job. I understand that. but also it's like not the only thing that happened in your life, and it's like it's the only thing she talks about is how she broke her foot and how she's out to prove herself this year that she can compete in comps or this or that. And it's like,
Yeah, and well, she's been perfectly lovely and perfectly nice on the feeds, but to me it's always like because she's so aware that she's on camera and that, you know, after this she's like a taste of the new players where like she's so aware that after this I got to go back on Instagram and sell. And she's the one who had the email that like basically spoiled the fact that she was for sure going to be on. And I don't think that was an accident. I think she was like, just send it out. I'm already on. They're not going to pull me last minute. It just all feels so calculated with her. And, you know, it's Big Brother, but I would never trust her in the house, ever.
Yeah, she's a bit weird, but also I think she's like almost playing like a good game right now because she kind of isn't like totally aligning with. She's kind of laying low. Some people are not lying low right now, and she's lying low. She's just talking about the time she broke her foot. I think it's personally a little bit annoying, but also like
it is annoying.
She's not gaming too hard, and we'll talk about who's gaming too hard later.
Yeah,
Kayla in the chat says she would swap Raven for Nicole F. She's a flop.
The real puppet master.
That is insanity. I'm here for it.
So they all have to play that game we were talking about. We won't waste too much time on that game. Christmas wins, so she gets to compete in the HOH.
And confirming just confirming briefly a Danny Gibson theory.
Yes.
They're not trapped in. They're all trapped with Julie. Like they're all wearing masks and stuff, and Julie's like, "Hey, so everyone's been tested." And you're all negative, and you can all take off the masks when you walk inside the house. And I have been tested as well, and like did not say what that is. But it's like, but I'm not wearing a mask, and I'm standing like 12 feet away from you. So it's like, if they're all negative, then why are 4 people wearing the mask?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Julie is COVID positive. That's my theory.
She also took the liberty of being not 6 feet away from them, but 12 feet away. She made sure to tell us. She doubled it.
Yeah, she doubled. I mean, you know what? Woke Julie. She doubles up on the guidelines. So maybe if you're not wearing a mask, if everyone's wearing a mask, it's 6 feet. But if one person's not wearing a mask, it's 12 feet.
Especially when it's Julie Chan Moonves.
That's math.
We got a question about that actually, about like why didn't Julie have to wear a mask on stage? And you know, them wearing the masks, first of all, was entirely performative, just like a lot of, you know, safety theater.
Yeah. Take off your shoes and belt.
It was also dramatic.
You're flying Delta.
It was dramatic. You rip that mask off once you're in the house, just like you can rip off the mask of who you are outside of the house.
It was incredibly dumb. It was incredibly dumb. Like, I mean, we didn't see it, but I'm sure there were a bunch of stagehands and producers and stuff there. Like, probably it's for interacting with those people, not the Julie thing. Yeah. But like, you're standing up there, everyone's like 5 feet away from each other. Just like take off the mask. Like you're standing on stage for 2 fucking minutes. And then we had a thing later on in the episode where they didn't know if it was Memphis or Cody talking because they all had masks on. Like, yeah, whatever.
It was ridiculous. But so then we meet, speaking of boys, we meet our first group of boys. Tyler, who needs a haircut. Now I sound old, but he needs a haircut.
Get a job, boy. Damn.
I just like, he and Angela have a jewelry company. They're being hot in Hilton Head together. Like, that's great.
I just don't understand, like, the fervent, like, the people who defended these 2 people above all. Like, you like them, cool, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel that strongly about anything, let alone like these fucking white bread people. Whatever. Gross.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I totally agree. So he's there, and you all know, I hope he's first voted off. It won't happen, but it's what I wish. Then we meet Ian Terry.
Yes.
Ian has a little salt and pepper. He's older, perhaps wiser.
I think he's like 29 though.
He's just stressed out, so he's prematurely gray, which I love in a man. We both were texting throughout this episode, and we of course texted each other about Ian's intro package.
Yes,
because it contains not only him brutally beating his girlfriend at whatever the hell bridge, backgammon, and uttering the line, I
I
see
have
we're
it.
going to look at the data. Oh, say the exact line.
I was looking at the data and it has a very high R squared value. That's just him doing his job.
I love it. He got his girlfriend to set up the camera of him looking at the computer. The computer was probably not even on.
No.
And giving that line to who? No one. No one was on the other end of that phone. But so glad we got it.
I know the package is about Ian, right? It's not about like getting to know his girlfriend or whatever.
Right.
But like she could have had one line. Like it was just weird that everything was him just like dominating her and talking over her. I just felt bad. And it's just like, I win again at backgammon, 993 to 1.
And she just smiles and nods.
Yeah, I felt bad.
I did too. Then we have Kevin. Kevin, very lovable, looks great.
Great. Fantastic. Living in San Diego. He's got the husband. I'm all for him. Just what a fantastic energy. I do want to call out Miss Anita Vito. I understand it's like a fun drag character that he does, but it had just a little bit of like in early It's Always Sunny. Dee does this like really, really like over the top racist like Latina character when she's like trying to become YouTube famous, and it just reminded me of that. I was like, ooh, this just felt just a little bit like I don't know. It just felt
like not 2020 friendly.
No, it just felt like overly, just making a caricature out of like a race of people. I just was like, just didn't feel great for me.
Sure.
I hope it doesn't. I don't know. Just whatever.
I honestly don't even remember that part. I was too much like in awe, just shock and awe that I was seeing all these people who like, some I remembered more than others, which brings me to Enzo.
Meow meow. Looking good.
Meow meow. He looks the exact, it's funny because he seemed older at the time.
Well, he's kind of going bald when it's funny because he was on like 10 years ago and he was kind of balding. So he looked like 10 years older than he looked 10 years older than he probably was back then. And now he looks his age. So the same age.
Yeah. Totally.
He's thinned out a little bit. He's got divorced. He's got the big ziti. It's just like an episode of Sopranos out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we have Janelle. Oh, so they play the game. Ian and Kevin win. Yes. So they can play for HOH. Then we meet another group of gals. We get our queen, Janelle.
I have a successful real estate business.
She sure does. Listen, everything about Janelle screams rich. Like American rich.
Oh yeah.
She's just like got the manny. She's got the house. She's got the kids. She's got a live-in nanny, I'm pretty sure. She is all designer all the time. Those highlights, they ain't cheap, people.
She may, like she probably lived in LA for a while or something like that in her 20s and early 30s. Now, and like maybe she just wasn't like the biggest fish in LA. Who could be the biggest fish in LA when I live in LA, right? Mm-hmm. But why not be the fucking whale shark of Minnesota? Like, she's the most fucking awesome person in Minnesota.
Yes.
Like,
she put Minnesota on the map. Yes.
They literally couldn't find it for a number of years. And then, she put it back on the map.
Yeah. She calls out, and I tweeted this, but I hated it. So I wanted to say it again. She calls out like, I don't have my 25-year-old body anymore. Okay, they cut to her standing next to the other three girls who are all like probably 10 years younger than her. Or wait, no, Keisha's around her age, but still, they all look phenomenal. They all have the body of a 25-year-old. So don't give me that. Like maybe she was saying it to not brag, but she looks incredible. So please.
Bailey, Dayton. So I have a question. Maybe I just blocked this out because I was just like so done with BB20 by the end. I literally did not remember that Swaggy and Bailey got engaged on the finale of BB20. I just was like, what? It was like I was learning of that for the first time. I was like, oh my God.
All I can say is I'm so glad she's not on the show with Swaggy. I'm so glad it's her alone because here's what I do remember from Bailey. I remember we had high hopes for her. Then she hooked up with Bailey. They were obnoxious together. She definitely brought some great drama. And then when she got evicted, when she was interviewed by Julie, and they showed clips of it this episode, she was so charming and quick.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like, I can't believe we lost this Bailey. Where was more of that Bailey? And I think she's back. Hopefully she's back. And Swaggy was just sort of like bringing her down.
We shall see. And like, it's always nice to see the people who kind of didn't succeed. I think she was the first jury member, so she got about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Didn't succeed, like playing kind of chill. And it seems like she's playing kind of chill right now, which is like good thing to do. And the first week of Big Brother is just like, so I think she could. I'm excited to see lots of what I'm trying to say is I'm excited to see lots of these people who like didn't perform very well historically. Bailey, Davon, Kaser, like maybe get far, David, like maybe get very far, you know?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of, there's Ian won, Nicole won. We have lots of second, third place finishers. And then we have lots of sort of like pre-jury people. So
right. They all have something to prove.
Yeah. It'll be fun to see that.
So next up, we had Nicole Anthony from Strong Island. Podcast host. Wow. I thought you and I would be the first podcast hosts on Big Brother, but now Nicole has taken that from us.
Listen, I know schools are not, she was a preschool teacher, right?
Right.
Last year. I know schools aren't open right now, but that's rough in the course of a year when your occupation goes from like something legitimate to podcast host. And let me just tell you, I saw the microphone she was using and it just is it's not a professional podcasting microphone. I haven't heard her podcast. I'm just sure it sounds a little bit like garbage.
Yeah.
That's just
I haven't heard it either. But, good for her for living her dream. And here's one thing I'll say about Nicole Anthony. When she's not on my TV, I think I don't like her. I'm like, oh, she was she was like playing the nerdy, like I'm so innocent girl, whatever. And then when I actually see her on screen, I always go, oh, she's so cute. She really is very cute.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. It's weird having her back because like the neuroses, the neuroticism is like, man, just like tone it down a little bit. Like you're here, you're an all-star.
Yeah.
You won America's favorite last year. Like you know how to play this game very well from a position of weakness, like because you're not like, she has a good social game, but she's not like Paul. Like she has like an understated social game, right?
Yeah.
And she's not really a comp threat. She won a few comps, but like she kind of can't do that. But she kind of plays from a position of weakness, and she's very good about saying what she's feeling out loud, especially for the feedsters and the people who she trusts and stuff. And I'm just like, girl, you got the confidence. What happened? Yeah. She started a podcast. That's what happened, probably.
Yeah, that'll do it. Then we gotta move on to Keisha from BB10.
4 dogs. How happy were you?
Oh my God, she looks great. She's living a beautiful life. Listen, if that's your life, you got a great life. 4 dogs.
So Keisha, in her 40s, 4 dogs, works at a restaurant, and that was the quote. I work at a restaurant.
Yes. Is she in California?
In Malibu.
In Malibu. Oh, so she works at some.
Did she work at the fucking safari place with Beth? First question. Second, girl, are you just like a waitress or something like that? Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like
there's nothing wrong with that. Times are tough.
This is 40. Like, well, yeah, I mean, times are tough. You probably can't be a waitress right now. Like,
yeah,
that's why she's on the show. She's getting paid more to be on the show than her normal job. But it's like, I would like to see a young, beautiful woman have a more successful career at this point. And
I agree.
That probably sounded really bad. I didn't mean it that way. I just like, I want her to be successful. Sorry.
No, of course. We have high hopes for Keisha. We want her to have a job perhaps like Memphis's, where hopefully instead of working in the restaurant, she is operating the restaurants. She has it in her. Why not? You know,
I want her to check in on that R squared value and say, you know what? It's high this year.
Yeah. So, but you know what? I'm sure she's perfectly happy and doing well. Listen,
she got 4 dogs. She's living a great, also
she's living a great life.
Fuck me, right? You have a job that makes you happy. You can come home with your dogs every night.
Exactly.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Living in Malibu.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah,
Fantastic.
that's living the dream.
I know.
So Nicole, of these four, Nicole's the only one who got to play HOH.
Let's talk about this comp for a brief second.
Oh gosh, if we must. If
we must, because they purposefully put the girls had the two hardest versions of the puzzle.
Yeah,
and we
that
saw
was
them.
weird.
It was just weird that 4 guys got to play in the HOH and only 2 girls did. It sucked. I didn't like it.
It seemed very off.
They could have at least swapped it and had one of the groups of the girls do a harder version and one of the groups of girls do the easier version. Like randomize it up. I don't care which one. Like I'm sure if they gave the Nicole group the easy puzzle, people would be like, collusion, Russia. But whatever.
Alas.
It sucked.
Yeah.
It was one of the few weak points from a mostly successful broadcast.
Right. So then we meet our final group of men. Kesar, he's a father. He's a hunk.
He's 39. He's turning 40 in a couple days.
This is 40.
And you know what? He wants to talk about our 2021 strategic roadmap.
I mean, I'm still not entirely sure what he does.
He's a biotech executive, sales.
Right. Okay, well, that's great. So yes, he's raking in money. Love that for him.
Yeah, I know what his roadmap is. If you're in biotech, invent the damn COVID fucking vaccine.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the roadmap. Invent it and get paid.
Yeah, and sell it to me because I mean, I do not have coronavirus, but I want everyone to have it. The vaccine. Anyway, Cody Calafiore is next. Cody loves soccer. He has a girlfriend. And
his girlfriend is his Xbox One XS.
And that's pretty much all there is to it. I love that he did not mention Polly at all. He mentioned Derek, no Polly. And he's looking good too.
Yeah, and it's like he's looking good. He's fine. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do very well in this game because I would have liked to see Paul, because Paul, as we've discussed, is just like pure chaos energy, and like he's a hothead, and it's nice to have him back. But it's like he seems like a nice guy. It's just gonna suck that I'm gonna start kind of hating him because he's just gonna do well because of his boyish good looks, and he's like really
already
fit guy. Like exactly. He wins HOH, and like now he's set up winning the first. Everyone comes in and is like, I don't want to win first HOH, and it's like, everyone who wins first HOH is like set for the rest of the game. Like it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna win.
Yeah, it's the easy. I think it's the best HOH to win because it's the least amount of blood on your hand.
We should say, Kayla in the chat, Cody is a real estate agent, but not as successful as Janelle. Who could be?
I mean, yeah. Good for him. Yeah, he mentioned like he spent some time in New York trying to do the on-camera thing. Good for him. But then we have Memphis Garrett from BB10. And you want to talk successful daddies? Memphis has a child and 37 restaurants.
And talk about a 2021 strategic roadmap here. He sits down with his business partner and he doesn't say, they'll eat what I serve them, or let me come up with some random recipes and serve those. He says, we got to look at what the market wants to eat and serve that. So I know I'm getting really into the R squared values here, but if you live in a market and they want to eat seafood, you serve seafood to that market.
I mean, listen, we know if you don't understand business, this might be going over your head.
Yeah.
But like you have got to feed the market what it wants to eat.
Yeah, it's simple. A plus B equals C.
So that was probably my favorite. That was my favorite. Ever since Morgan on BB22, this will be the hottest hotel in all of Austin. Him at an empty restaurant, looking over a menu, saying we need to serve what the market wants to eat. Good business plan. Okay, last up is David from BB21.
He didn't leave LA.
David, we don't even need to talk about it.
The all-star David. So you know how when someone moves to LA, you know how someone is now an LA resident when they cite hiking as one of their favorite activities. And let me tell you, There are people who go hiking in Yellowstone or Yosemite or Zion National Park.
Yeah.
There is this fucking crazy thing in LA where everyone's hobby is fucking hiking, and it's ludicrous. It's like I'm putting on fucking yoga pants and like tennis shoes and walking up a hill. It's like I'm like not in good shape, but it's like the least fucking strenuous shit at all. And it's like exclusively like Hollywood people like doing their business, so like doing business meetings and stuff. And it's like, oh, instead of going to a coffee shop, let's like go hiking.
Hiking is the new golfing. Hiking
like,
is
you don't
Hollywood
need fucking
golfing.
REI. You don't need a big old like titanium walking stick. You don't need a
Right.
fucking Camelback. It's like you're walking up a small dirt hill. Grow up. Oh my God. Welcome to LA, David. You are now one of them. You're one of us.
David, to his credit, also, you brought this up, Brett, put on his BB profile, a fun fact about himself is that he was on BB21.
Yeah. It's like, did you submit these fun facts thinking like, hey, like, did you mix up your Love Island application? Because that would be a fun fact for Love Island. David Alexander, he was on BB21 and I was on Love Island, baby.
Yeah, I got to give Danny credit. On the feed, she said, David is like their Chicken George. So, I mean, hey, if that's true, that's a great position for him to be in. So then Memphis wins, and Memphis and Cody win the little game, so they get to compete for HOH. Great. So they all meet, they have to go play, and it's like this competition where the little pinheads are wobbly and some are secure. So you have to make it across in the fastest time wins.
Who cares? You have to walk on these little.
But it was very amusing. I just want to shout it out. It was very hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
Especially watching Nicole not realize that you could choose an alternate route and falling over the same one twice.
Again, Nicole just got to get some confidence. You know, she's a podcaster. She exists in the digital space, not the physical space.
She should have been on the hacker season. Oh, yeah. So just want to shout out. We got a question like, what do we think about the new house and stage? The house is like the theme this year is like city because it's like graffiti and it's a loft. So it's a very urban metropolitan style.
But it has these like spray paint things of like Frankie or like
I like
Dan.
it. I like it.
It says like Dan. It's weird. In the kitchen, it says like there's a spray paint outline of Dan. It says Dan's funeral. And it's like, don't want to be reminded of funerals every time I go into a kitchen.
So true.
I know it's an iconic moment, but like, just, I don't know. The word funeral is like, just doesn't get me hard for cereal in the
for a snack. Yeah, so I like it. And I think the stage is huge. It was very hilarious because the first 10 minutes of the show, they could not get a close-up of Miss Julie Chen Mendez. It was entirely wide shot, as if they were showing off how big the stage was.
The social distancing applies to the cameras as well for Julie. That's her thing. Is nothing biological or technological can get within 12 feet of her.
Exactly. So I enjoyed it. So thank you for that question.
I thought the new stage was good. Like, I think it's a nice update. Like, welcome to the year 2020. Totally. Let's put these big video screens on you. You can do whatever. I thought this stage was really cool. I think in general the house was really cool. Like, I think they really have done a fucking great job with so many of these little details.
Yeah.
That have just been improved. Yeah.
The only thing I wish that they did for this All-Star season was up the prize, but whatever. And that question, just so I can shout it out, was from It's Me, Bree Lee. So thank you so much for that question.
Chris in the chat says, "Don't kink shame funeral fun." I'm sorry.
You're just stepping in it all over the place.
I'm humbled. I'm sorry.
Do better.
I need to do better when it comes to people who, as is their right in America, become their kink is funerals, whatever. Like, to each their own.
To each their own. Don't yuck someone's yum. So Cody's HOH, he has a little interview with Julie up in the HOH room.
This was fantastic.
You love it.
I love it. Like, why don't we do this every week?
I think that we might. I mean, hopefully we do. They used to do this.
I feel like, didn't they used to do this? Yeah, they did used to do this.
Yeah.
But like, it's increasingly just turned into like all 12 of them are in the room, and it's like Julie's like, "Hey guys, which food do you miss most?" "I miss sushi. I miss peanut butter." And it's like, do you guys miss going to the movies? Yeah. Well, here's an episode of Hawaii Five-0 that two of you can watch. And it's like, it's boring. And this was great. We have the live thoughts of the recent HOH. He's coming in. He hasn't really spoken to a soul in 2 weeks. And he's like, man, I came in here and I thought it was going to be some people. My best friend, Derek. Like, I thought it was going to be some people. And I came in here and it wasn't. And I don't know if I got caught up in the moment or this or that. But I kind of got scared. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and win this HOH.
Right.
That was a great moment. Like, we should have more live DR sessions with people. Like, yeah, I mean, I do remember that on older seasons.
This is the year to do it. So that's pretty much it. We wrap up, and we need to get into questions on live feeds.
But first, Julie does give us her new 2020 sign off. Be safe, be well, and be good to each other.
I mean, it's no, please remember to spay and neuter your pets, but okay, yeah, I guess we'll take it.
Yeah. Let's get to some questions. Let's get to some spoilers.
Yeah, so let's run through the questions first. So from Johnny Linda, who do you guys predict will be the first evicted? And who do you guys think has the all-star potential to win it all? So it's spoiler zone. If you don't have the feed, stop listening. But so, as we know, Cody won HOH. It seemed like he was going to put up Kesar and Janelle. I don't think he explicitly said that was the plan, but that was a general feeling. And honestly, they were feeling like they didn't even go talk to Cody at all to be like, please don't. But
yeah,
they competed in the safety suite competition. Kesar won and saved Janelle.
So to back it up just a little bit, so they introduced the rules of the safety suite. So I believe for the next 3 weeks, there is a competition called the safety suite. If you play in it, you can't play again. And I think it's only going for 3 weeks until they change the room to something else. If you play in it, you can't play again. And if you win, you and someone you designate are safe for the week.
Yeah.
So Kesar played and won the competition, and he nominated Janelle as his like co-safe person. Which
I think was a good move. They need to just buy themselves that week because otherwise they're too big a target.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I think at first, like, you could tell that they were like trying to not communicate with each other and like not be seen in the same room as each other because they knew that these are the two most iconic people in the room, in the house. Yeah. Like, you have Nicole Anthony.
Superstars,
yeah, exactly. You have Nicole Anthony, who's like, oh my god, like, I mean, and then you have David Alexander, who's like, who the fuck are these people? But but you have these people are icons, like Big Brother legends and stuff, and they were doing the right thing in that they were like, let's just not even be seen with each other. We know that we're tight with each other. We can like, they don't need to check in with each other, like if they're tight, like they are. But I think the you know the reality of who is HOH, Cody is there, and let's be real, Cody's bunking up with like the bros.
Yes,
David,
absolutely.
Tyler, Enzo's kind of good with everybody, but Enzo especially has that sort of like New Jersey like homeboy connection with people. Like let's be bros. Hey, how you doing? Like sort of thing with Cody, and Cody has a little bit of that vibe. And Kesar and Janelle kind of saw the writing on the wall, and they did it. So I watched a lot of feeds yesterday.
So did I. But wait, this is just all to say to answer the question. Who do I think will be first? Who do we think will be first evicted? Yeah. I just want to say, so they're not an option. Before I was thinking it was going to be one of them. Now it seems like it might be Memphis or Keisha.
We're going after the olds here on BB22. Yeah.
And I'm anti that. And I just love that immediately Janelle and Kesar are put into their BB6, like, it's like history repeats itself. They're back to being underdogs because everyone's going to go after them and try to get them out.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'm a bit worried for both of them. Like, this could play out like Winners at War, Survivor Winners at War, where it's like where you see Boston Rob and Parvati, and you see some of these like really iconic old school players, Sandra,
Yeah.
get fucking like blasted like within the first 5 or 6 weeks, and then it's mainly a bunch of newer school players. So we'll see. It's only been 3 days, but like we'll see
Yeah.
how this plays out in a similar season. I think it's really interesting to have these two experiments back to back with Survivor and Big Brother All-Star seasons
Yeah.
happening back to back, and we'll see if those strategies play out.
So I'm thinking, unless she lights a fire under her ass, Keisha's the first to go if she gets nominated, because she's just been very like low key and chill. And then who do you think has the all-star potential to win it all at this very moment?
I think Danny is playing a very, very good social game right now, perhaps to her detriment, because it could be construed as a floater game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she right now is. I've seen her having really solid game talks with the most people, like the most varied groups of people so far.
My answer.
Sorry.
Okay. My answer might shock you. I think right in this moment, Nicole A has a chance to win it all. She's just so like, who's going to nominate her? Everyone's going to be like, that's a waste of my HOH. She's making good with certain people. She's got a cute social game.
She had a really solid game talk with Janelle and Kaser last night at like 2
Yeah, and even if she's seen as like in with them, I just don't think she's threatening at all to anyone. Like, who's gonna admit, is Enzo really gonna be like, yo, we gotta get out Nicole A? No, he's gonna want to get out someone bigger and more exciting.
I think they could work together too with that like tri-state area connection, like that.
Totally.
That some of the people like geographically team up. I could actually see that. She's really interesting because she is such a student of Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Not that these people aren't, for the most part. They all kind of are pretty aware of everything, but you can tell there's some like, you can tell Cody's like, who's this? Who's Memphis?
Yeah, they were like, how do you pronounce
like me.
Kesar?
Yeah, he pronounces Kesar
like,
wrong. David, who was a recruit a year ago, like he doesn't know anybody really, you know. Like I think he was hoping Paul was gonna be on this season or whatever. Like aside from that, like Nicole, I mean Davon's like a really, really good like long-term student of the game as well. Yeah. And it's interesting to see Davon and Nicole study under Kesar. Not that Kesar is like really, it's more like do as I say, not as I do with Kesar. Right. Cause like personally, let's just get into it. Like I've been very disappointed in Kesar in the first 48 hours. The dude is playing super fucking hard. He's like, I understand they had to blow up I think his initial strategy with Janelle was to not hang out with Janelle and just like basically have an unspoken final two with each other. But they kind of had to call out and say, this is who we are. But just some of the conversations he's going around and having with people. He had a really awkward conversation with Tyler in the storage room last night. Like, he knows that he's not really with the Tyler Cody group already.
Yeah.
But he also, Kaser is like really paranoid and has like, he thinks that there's like an all bros alliance with a name, with like a final six deal with each other. He thinks like, what the Cody side of the house is like really, really solid right now. And yeah, there are sort of the beginnings of that alliance, but I don't think they actually are really that solid with each other.
Not yet.
Cody has expressed multiple times that this is the weirdest HOH he's been a part of as a HOH or not an HOH, because usually people go and like talk to the HOH and try to get in with them and try to be like, what are you thinking? You know, and he's expressed multiple times on the feeds, people aren't really doing that. They're more afraid to make the first move. It's sort of like in Survivor when like we get back from the competition and it's like, who's going to be the first person to talk? Because remember there was that episode pretty late in the season this year where everyone came back and everyone just sat there and talked and like no one went off and did one-on-ones. It's almost been a little bit like that for Cody. So I've just been frustrated with Case. Like every time I turn on the feeds, Kaser is like spilling beans to people, playing super hard and just seeming like a really aggressive player. And I just don't think he's gonna make it to fucking jury for the third time.
Like I don't necessarily think that he's gonna make it far, just because I think he's such a big target, and even more now having won the safety thing and obviously playing with Janelle, who's also a huge target. But I totally disagree in the way that we've been like whenever I see Kesar on the feeds, I feel like he's so relaxed. He's just so grounded and low key that even if he is spinning out paranoia wise, he says it in a way where I'm like, oh yeah, that's reasonable.
Oh yeah,
Maybe I'm just like, blinded a little. But
yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to think that he's paranoid. I just think that he's like spinning a lots of game talk right now with people, and I would like to see him playing just like more social and more laid back. Like Derek,
yeah,
for as much as people, Derek is a really good player, right? Like
sure.
I think lots of people like try to be like, oh, he's not Dan or Will or whatever, but like Derek was a really good player because he was like involved in game stuff, but it always came across as like he was being your friend and he was like making you think it was your idea. Kaser comes in and is like, this is what I'm thinking. This is my idea right now.
Yeah.
And we have to do this. And we have to like, he's like, we have to cut their throats. So like, it's just like, bro, like hang out. You are at a disadvantage because you're one of the oldest people in the house. You're almost 40. And like you don't have the connections because you've obviously been like going out and making a family and like,
living a normal life.
You're not like Tyler, who's been like doing like fan meetups and stuff the last few years.
Right.
Obviously, Kaser is more out of it, doesn't really have those personal connections with people. And I'm just worried that he's having like a lot of kind of serious game talk with people, and it's gonna be like, and people are just gonna be like, wow, he's a gamer. He's everything he's chalked up to be. And
yeah, I can see that happening.
Like, let's get him out because he's always gonna be scheming and saying like, oh, it's time to cut the head off and stuff. It's just like,
I know. I mean, I love it. As someone who's watching the feeds, I'm like, well, thank God. Because I was like, ooh, we get to watch from day one. I want to see game talk from day one. And then I see Christmas talking about her fucking MLM skincare line. Like, I don't care about this. So I was glad to watch Kesar. Right now, I'm saying it right now. Whenever Christmas is on the feed, I switch cams. I just can't.
She's been on the feeds a lot. She just like posts up in the bathroom or the bedroom and just people come to her.
Over the conversation. Okay, we got another question from that Chloe Benoe. If you could design the have-not room, what would it look like?
I'm not like a big have-not room fan. I don't care.
Well, I have the perfect answer. I would make it look like Kanye West's house, which is like entirely white with marble slabs. Like it is not comfy at all. So, and bright whites. I think they had a room like this at one point, but just like so blinding and so sharp. That's how I would make it. And then we got another question from Dumb Angel BB. And
you're a smart angel.
You call yourself a dumb angel. You're a smart angel for asking this question. Who is Danielle thirsting over harder? Sexy dad bod Kesar or sexy weathered hunk Memphis? Great question.
The most important question. The question
really important.
Times.
Really hard for me to say, but after watching the feeds, Kesar does have a slight edge over Memphis. But honestly, they are so close. Just because Kesar is so tall. I just when he was standing next to those other guys, they all seemed tall, but he was like slightly taller, and I was like, oh my gosh, hunk alert.
I know, right? That question wasn't directed at me. I don't have an answer.
Well, come on, you can answer though.
Kaser.
So that's it for our questions. Thank you guys so much for writing them in. Are there any from the chat?
Yeah, I should have said that. If there's any from the chat, if you have any questions in the chat, I'll drop them in now. I'll go back.
So it's Friday. We're gonna have the noms today probably, which is very exciting. I think that will also kick gaming into high gear. And then we have POV to look forward to this weekend. Just everything. Very exciting.
Old Z says, what's been going on with a few questions. Can we please talk about what's up with Nicole Franzel? So Nicole Franzel has been crying like fucking Niagara Falls for the last 12 hours. So she says she's just tired. What was that, Danielle?
I saw screenshots of like the reactions to her crying, and it was very like, girl, get it together.
Yeah, it's funny because she's crying in the bathroom. She's like, oh, I'm just really tired. When I get really tired, I just get really emotional. I guess they woke him up at like pretty early in the morning. They woke him up at 8:30 yesterday, which I guess is early. I guess they normally don't wake him up till like 10ish or something like that. So they were just like they thought they were going to sleep in more or whatever. That's what she's saying. I mean, I think I don't. I think it's a funny joke. I just don't buy I don't buy this like Nicole puppet master like behind the scenes thing.
Right.
And
she's playing. I think she's playing pretty well, except for her like weird breakdown. She's got a friend in the HOH. She's planting seeds with Danny.
That's the thing is like I actually think Nicole and Cody aren't as close as they would seem, and I think that like Nicole could be like a possibility this week. Like, but it is kind of funny that she's like crying, and this girl's played a lot of Big Brother. She's won a season of Big Brother, and she's crying in the bathroom while you have like the Enzo, Janelle, Kaser group like in the kitchen looking into the bathroom, just like LOLing at her. And it's like Keisha walked in. There's a really funny video of Keisha walking in and being like, "Oh, what did I just walk into? I'm leaving."
Yeah, it's early. Listen, maybe she just is very homesick. Maybe she is really tired. I get weepy when I'm that tired too, so it's possible. But we also had Janelle on the feed saying that Dan told her that Nicole F is the reason that Derek is not on this season. Now, how much stock do I put in that? I don't know, but it is interesting.
So what was the deal there? Like they were clearly like pre-gaming too hard, and they were like, "We got to kick one of you out because you guys have been communicating too much."
I don't think so. I can't see them doing that. There's still no reason for this, so I can't fully put any stock into it. Like, you know, I'm like Vanessa. I'm like, what's the reason? What's the motivation? But
also maybe the motivation is like they went either or with Cody and Derek. Like it would feel very weird to have this cast, but maybe switch out Memphis for Derek. Like that gives Cody
Tyler was supposed to have Casey.
I'm sorry?
Tyler was supposed to have Casey.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. There seemed like there were a bunch of alternates. I'm pretty happy with the cast. I think Memphis is like a little boring, and I just don't know what he adds. I would have even if there's that tight Christmas connection, I kind of would have liked to have seen Josh there just because he's like more
a wild card.
Team live crazy feeds.
Yeah.
Put Paulie in there with Cody. Like I know they're brothers, but like Paulie's such a fucking lightning. He's such a psycho. Yeah, like I don't know. It would have been weird to have seen, and I understand Kaser and Janelle are like a tight duo, but also like Kaser has never historically done very well in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
It just would have been weird to see of all these people in the house, and then you swap out like Memphis for Derek, and you're like, wait, why did this pair that like basically won the game together go in here, and then you have 14 other people? It almost seems unfair. I don't know. And maybe we'll never know, but maybe we'll hear it all on the feeds, which I'm dying to get back to. Oh,
so
yes.
Thank you all so much for your questions, for tuning in, for listening on the podcast. We're so excited. We'll be back very soon with another episode because I think a lot more is going to happen.
Do we have an episode on Sunday? Yeah, we have an episode on Sunday, right? We'll get some nominations. We'll get this little safety thing, which we just spoiled. And yeah.
Thanks for listening. Bye, Julie.
Bye, Julie.